Welcome back. Monday, right here on the news at 7, we told you just how much credit card debt people in Connecticut are carrying around. In a LendingTree survey, we ranked second in the nation for the highest average credit card debt with more than $8,600. Now, because of that, it might not come as a surprise that people in our state are seeking financial counseling to help them out. Check this graph out from Money Management International. That's a nonprofit that offers financial counseling. It shows their clients by state and the highest concentration right here in Connecticut. In 2022, it was 18 people per 100,000. Last year, that jumped to more than 26 per 100,000. That's the largest increase of where they operate.
What we're seeing here really is that reflection of the change in as we've emerged from the pandemic, people spending more, able to travel more, the cost of living increasing, student loans going back into repayment. So there's a lot of factors that are going into this.
That's Thomas Nitsche. He's a financial educator at Money Management International. He says the number of people reaching out isn't the only concerning factor. It's how much debt people actually have.
At the beginning of 2022, they had on average, about $20,000 in total unsecured debt. And now that number is closer to $30,000. So that's a really significant increase. Also, while their income, the average income has increased, their monthly budget is actually in a negative.
So, in fact, while the wages have increased, they're not keeping up with the higher cost of everyday expenses. Nitsche says on average, people have a budget deficit of at least $300 per month, and he sees more and more people turning to their credit cards to fill that gap.
So when the average interest rate that we see is somewhere around 27%, 28%, that gets expensive really fast, especially if you're only able to make minimum payments, not putting much towards the principal.
Now, on top of that, Money Management International says you're seeing younger people reach out for their services too. Typically, their average client would range in their 40s and 50s.
Clients in their 20s is really unusual to see the increase that we've had. We think a lot of that has to do with just the cost of living becoming so much more expensive, people not making as much when they start their first career, when they start their first job, student loans going back into repayment this year. It's creating a lot of pressure on that age group.
Now, he says he also hears from that younger age group their worries about being able to ever afford a home with all this debt. On the bright side, though, the financial hardship is not just among young people, but it's actually felt across the board, and that it somewhat lessens the stigma, which means more people are in the same boat and they ask for help.
Traditionally, it's a kind of a taboo subject. People don't like to talk about it. With friends, family, even friends or family, much less a stranger, right? But there can be a certain level of comfort with being, having more anonymity, especially folks who come to us through our online portal, moneymanagement.org. But yes, I think the fact that it is in the public eye more, that is making people feel a little bit more less stigmatized and less alone.
Nitsche says when people don't talk about it, they are less likely to find solutions.